Doyle Brunson is looking down at pocket sixes.
King, queen yet?
I didn't say that. I said I had you beat at all times.
It wasn't queen deuce or queen tray, so then it's ace, king, or queen.
Yeah. But I didn't say it was a king.
Unless he's lying.
Unless I'm lying, exactly.
Just sitting here on TV lying.
Doyle Brunson initiates the action. This is a standard opening play,
16.
aimed at set mining or outplaying opponents post-flop. However, Calacanis, the high-profile entrepreneur, is not interested in playing small. He peels his cards to find pocket kings and executes a sharp 3-bet to 5,600. This is the dream scenario for Calacanis.
So that's how much altogether?
56 total.
He is holding a premium monster against a pro who he likely believes is opening too wide. Brunson, aware of Calacanis' aggressive image and getting the correct implied odds to chase a set, makes the call. The flop falls the ultimate statistical disaster for Calacanis.
15,000.
Brunson has flopped middle set, hitting his 6 to create a hidden monster. Calacanis, meanwhile, looks at the low board and sees his pocket kings as an invulnerable overpair. Brunson, realizing he has him completely crushed,
This is 30.
decides on a deceptive min-raise to 30,000. This is a classic move. By raising small, Brunson is luring Calacanis further into the trap, making his raise look like a test or a semi-bluff with a draw rather than the nuts.
See, if you got it all in, we could run it twice. Nothing. We're going to be at a guess.
Now, I'm not sure why Jason just called. If it was good enough to call, it's probably good enough to get it in.
The turn, 10 of clubs.
All in.
I call.
All in and a call.
Jason's about to see some very bad news.
3 6s.
Run it 10 times?
Wait.
Hang on.
You can run it 3 times if you want.
Sure.
3 times.
3 times.
You understand that? Okay.
That means you'll see the river card 3 times, playing for 1/3 of the pot each run. The first river, 5 of spades.
One for the good guys.
Give Jason 1. My 2 outer.
Yeah, I don't be too mad.
Run number 2, 10 of hearts.
2.
And last chance for Jason to salvage something. It's a deuce and a sweep for Doyle.
Chipped.
I presume I've got you.
Yeah, you got him covered, for sure.
Antonio Esfandiari is looking down at 10-4 suited. Pre-flop begins with a surprising display of loose, speculative aggression between two of the most recognizable icons in the game. Barry Greenstein, historically known for a tight, solid approach, decides to widen his opening range from late position, raising to 1,500 holding 6-5 offsuit. It is a move designed to maintain board coverage and exploit the perceived passivity of the table. However, Esfandiari is not one to let a veteran pro walk over his blinds. The flop falls a texture that acts as a complete trapdoor for the pre-flop aggressor. Greenstein has struck absolute gold, flopping top 2 pair. On such a low board, his hand is effectively the nuts. Antonio, adhering to the always be aggressive philosophy of the modern pro, obliges. He fires a continuation bet of 7,200. At this point, Antonio is telling a story of a premium overpair like pocket aces or pocket kings, attempting to fold out Barry's missed high cards or weak draws. The hand reaches a fever pitch when Barry decides the slow playing is over. He executes a powerful check raise to 21,000. This move is a definitive statement of strength. Barry is saying that he has connected with this low board in a way that beats a single pair. Most players would see this raise and find the fold button with 10 high, acknowledging that the bluff has failed. But Antonio Esfandiari is not most players. He decides to enter a leveling war, convincing himself that Barry is check-raising light to test his pre-flop aggression. Antonio decides to pull the ultimate trigger, shoving all in for his entire stack.
Oops.
Good luck, boys.
Twice? Deal.
Barry refuses to run it twice, and Antonio refuses to show.
This is the one time someone's hoping to be dealt 7 deuce. You can see Antonio's out. He can also hit running diamonds.
A king on the turn, No help to Antonio.
Antonio's down to just those sevens and deuces or he'll be felted.
The river card for all of Antonio's dough is a 4, and Barry wins.
Nice hand.
Tony G is looking down on King 4 suited. Pre-flop, this pot starts out as a fairly standard multi-way situation that quietly plants the seeds for a brutal cooler. Harlow opens with Ace 9, Antonio peels in position with King Jack, and Tony G overcalls with King 4 suited. From Tony's side, this is loose but very on-brand. He is in there to play pots, especially deep stacked and in position on an amateur opener. Behind them, the blinds come along, and you get exactly the kind of bloated, almost family pot where dominated kings and weird suited holdings collide.
Here he comes. You've been quiet, Phil. Preserving your lead.
Not really. I check.
The flop texture massively favors the kind of speculative, wide calling range Tony brought to the pot. He flops top and bottom 2 pair, while Antonio hits what looks like a very strong top pair with King Jack. After Hellmuth and Harlow check, Antonio's continuation bet for 4,200 into the field is completely logical. He charges draws, gets value from worse kings and tens, and represents the strong pre-flop range he had by flatting the raise in position. Tony's raise to 15,000 is the key inflection point. With 2 pair on a coordinated board, he wants to punish exactly hands like Antonio's, forcing them to pay a premium to continue. The raise size is big enough to thin the field and make life uncomfortable for single-pair hands, but not so huge that it blows them off. Hellmuth and Harlow correctly get out of the way. Antonio, holding top pair with a strong kicker and some backdoor straight equity, is never folding to a single raise and makes the call, likely putting Tony on King 10, a bluff, or some kind of combo draw.
What do you have left?
Antonio checks.
You want exact count?
No, it's fine.
And Tony's decision to check back is deceptively strong. With 2 pair on a now even scarier board, betting again would inflate the pot against a range that has improved to many strong 1 pair plus draw hands. The river ends the hand in one swing. It gives Tony a full house, kings full of 4s, and upgrades Antonio from a strong but beatable top pair to trip kings with a big kicker. After checking twice, Antonio now leads 20,000. This is a classic value bet sizing, targeting exactly the kind of hands he thinks Tony might have slow played, Queen 10 or maybe a stubborn King 9 that check turn for pot control. Tony's response is a cold-blooded shove, an enormous raise over the river stab that polarizes his range to absolute monsters or air. In theory, that sizing should make Antonio very suspicious. There are not that many natural bluffs that take this line, and the full house region is heavily concentrated in Tony's loose pre-flop range. But in practice, when you have trip kings with a strong kicker, have seen your opponent check back a dangerous turn, and the pot is already large, folding feels almost impossible.
What the hell did you check the turn with, Tony? All right, call.
Antonio calls all in and sees the bad news.
I see.
Tony wins a pot of 150 grand.
Chips?
Daniel Negreanu is looking down at pocket 5s. In the high-stakes pressure cooker of a heads-up title match, the value of starting hands is completely transformed.
I'm all in.
Eugene's trying to close the door right here.
If you really sucked bad, I would fold. But you don't suck.
I'm almost positive that's a compliment.
You don't suck at all. So, shall we race?
It's better than a race, Daniel.
Was that close? Oh boy, at least I didn't say anything. Yeah. What am I thinking? Let's do it. Gamble.
Finally.
Do you have a pair?
Yeah.
This is not for me.
You got a little pair? Oh, that was... There's a little chance you got ace 3 or ace 5. That's desirable.
That's what I felt like I once started talking.
Right, yeah, you're like, uh-oh. When I said race, right? You're like, he's got a small pair. How small is the question?
The flop. Ace 8-10 with 2 spades. So far, so good for Negreanu.
Spade on the turn.
It is a spade, but it's the 4 of spades, and that sees Kachalov take the
It's a
lead.
spade, it's a spade. Don't cry yet. I can still win. Spade out. Or a 5. 5 still works.
Diamond!
The ultimate sweat.
Yeah, sick turn. I was like, at least I got the spade out.
The river is not a spade, it's not a
Match
5.
That's
Macron
all right.
is the runner-up.
That's what you do.
Kachalov's the champion.
That's good. Win that pot back in action. At least he got it in bad.
Every time, by the way.
Selbst, sitting in the big blind, looks down at a pair of jacks, a strong but tricky hand in this scenario. Facing a raise and a 3-bet, she opts to flat call rather than 4-bet. While a 4-bet would help narrow the field and define her opponent's ranges, it could also bloat the pot and force her into tough post-flop spots if she's up against a hand like queens, kings, or aces. Her flat call allows her to control the pot size while disguising her hand strength, keeping her range wide enough to include potential traps. The flop lands Queen 2 Jack, and Selbst couldn't have asked for better. Her pair of jacks connects perfectly, giving her middle set and a commanding lead in the hand. Chen, holding ace-queen suited, flops top pair with backdoor flush and straight draws, making his hand strong but significantly vulnerable to Selbst's concealed strength. Selbst leads out with 80,000 bet, a sizing that achieves multiple goals. It builds the pot while extracting value from weaker hands like top pair or speculative holdings with equity. Importantly, her bet disguises her hand's full strength. Opponents may interpret it as a standard value bet or even a semi-bluff. Chen, with top pair and additional equity from his backdoor draws, decides to call. From his perspective, Selbst's range from the big blind could include hands like king-queen, queen-jack, or even bluffs, making a fold too conservative. The turn changes the dynamics of the hand with the 8 of diamonds, creating a more draw-heavy board. Selbst still holds the lead with her set of jacks, but the new card introduces a flush draw and enhances the straight possibilities. She increases the pressure with a bet of 150,000. This bet is designed to charge draws like the nut flush and extract further value from hands like Chen's top pair. While the sizing is solid, Selbst may have missed an opportunity to go larger, putting Chen to an even tougher decision. Chen's ace-queen suited improves with the nut flush draw, making his hand significantly stronger in terms of potential equity. He calls the 150,000, which is the correct decision based on the pot odds and his outs to the nut flush. By calling, Chen keeps the pot manageable while preserving his chance to improve on the river. The river delivers the 7, completing Chen's nut flush with ace-queen suited and spelling disaster for Selbst. Unaware of Chen's exact holding but recognizing her set is still vulnerable, Selbst decides to shove all in. However, this move is a misstep. The shove assumes Chen might fold marginal holdings, but his turn call strongly represents a flush, especially the nut flush. A smaller bet, or even a cautious check, could have limited Selbst's losses given the dangerous board texture. Chen barely needs to think. With the nuts, his call is automatic. There's no possible hand on this board that can beat him. He confidently flips over his cards, claiming the massive pot, and leaving Selbst regretting her river shove. Lunkin is looking down on pocket sixes. Pre-flop, this is a classic slow-played trap setting itself up. Mike opens under the gun with king-queen offsuit, which is completely standard at these stack depths. It is a strong Broadway hand, dominates a lot of the calling range, and plays very cleanly post-flop. In the small blind, Lunkin just calls with pocket sixes. That flat looks harmless, but it is already dangerous for Mike. Small and medium pairs love to see flops, especially against an early position raiser whose range is heavy on big cards. O'Dwyer completes in the big blind with king-jack, getting a great price in closing the action. The flop comes paired rainbow. It is one of those rare boards where everyone hits something but one player is hiding a huge hand. Mike absolutely smashes it with trip queens and top kicker. Against 2 blinds who defended and checked to him, his continuation bet for 250,000 is automatic. He gets value from worse queens, pocket pairs, and random floats, while also denying equity from overcards and backdoor draws. What he does not know is that Lunkin has flopped a full house. After checking, Lunkin now springs the first part of the trap and raises to 750,000. That raise is doing 2 jobs at once. It builds a pot with a monster, and it tells a story of a semi-bluff or a weaker queen, not the very top of range. O'Dwyer correctly gets out of the way with king-jack, but Mike is in a very tough spot. Folding trip queens with top kicker to a single raise on this texture is almost impossible. The turn is the 8 of spades, a complete brick for the core battle between these two ranges. The paired queen and the 6 still matter most, and any aggressive action now is heavily weighted toward value. Lunkin leads for 1 million into a pot that is already swollen, and that sizing is perfect. It is big enough to put serious pressure on Mike's medium-strength hands.
He shoves.
I call.
Close enough.
Mike McDonald drawing thin.
Did he say 6 or sucks?
He needs a king, queen, or 8. He's got 6 outs. The river card. It's the case 6.
He should have said queen.